After the failure of a very promising run on 1-9, I immediately started from the beginning again, but because of my frustration, I played quite poorly, resulting in many failed runs. After taking a break, I started the game up again the next day, this time with a clear head and a clearer plan for all of part 1. This time, I figured that if I was going to do any particular grinds, I ought to do one that requires the least effort and has the highest payoff. In order to train physical units like Meg and Leonardo, the most common method is to buy many bronze weapons to repeatedly attack healers or bosses for chip XP. This works for a while, but the XP you gain quickly diminishes as you gain level, so from a time and cost perspective, you can only reasonably get these characters to slightly pass their tier 2 promotion. In other words, this is a grind with a high cost and a low ceiling. I did some digging and I remember that in Radiant Dawn, staff XP gain is static and is not affected by things such as your character's level. So in other words, staff grinds will always progress linearly, which in the long term makes them much faster than weapon grinds, which will slow down as you level up. This also means that staff grinds can also bring you to the level cap, which is not normally feasible with weapon grinds. In part 1, the only character that starts off being able to use staves is Laura, and in regular play it's frankly not worth even trying to train her. However, if grinding is on the table, then Laura is probably one of the best picks. And this is because staff grinding is incredibly resource efficient. To gain 20 levels and promote once, you need 2000 XP, which is around 182 heal staff uses, amounting to a total material cost of 4.5 heal staffs, which is 3640 gold. And once Laura reaches tier 2, she gains enough skill capacity to equip the Paragon skill to double her XP gain, so she can gain the next 40 levels to reach her level cap with another 182 staff uses for a total cost of around 7280 gold. Spending 7280 gold and 364 turns to get a tier 3 level 60 unit is a ridiculously good deal, creating an incredibly strong unit for a relatively small amount of effort. Comparable grinds to the level cap with physical units will probably take around 10 times as long and cost 10 times as much. So for the next playthrough, I set out on this task, this time not bothering to train the other Dawn Brigade units. So I sent Soph to handle much of the early game. I focused on having Laura heal her way to her tier 2 promotion by the end of chapter 1-6, after which I get the Paragon skill from the boss, which doubles her XP gain. I make extensive use of chapter 1-7 stationary enemies to allow Laura to repeatedly heal for XP, letting her reach her tier 3 promotion to become a saint. I finish off her grinding in chapter 1-8, capping her level and turning her into a tier 3 level 60 saint, maxing out most of her stats and making her into an absolute monster. The entire process of finishing most of part 1 while also getting Laura to this state only took around 3.5 hours, which is very fast. On this playthrough, my Micaiah ended up being a lot faster, allowing her to survive one round of combat in chapter 1-9. I still entered the map relatively blind, and Micaiah was attacked several times, but the leeway I had for Micaiah not being one-shot allowed me to easily survive the chapter. I sweep up the enemies with the Black Knight and have him defeat Jared to complete the map. As chapter 1-9 closes, one of Jared's lackeys takes a killing blow for him, and Micaiah foolishly decides to show mercy only to moments later immediately realize that she messed up.